Hello, everyone, and Chag Sameach. Welcome to our Model Seder and our Haggadah and Seder tutorial. This video serves the purpose of being able to help you and provide some guidance on the order and different rituals, prayers, and songs that are in the Passover Seder. And so I hope this video will be informative to you and will help you during your Seders this year. We are going to first talk about a couple of the ritual items that we have here on our Seder table before we dive into the actual Seder itself. First thing that we have here is the Seder plate. And on the Seder plate, we have a few different items. We have the shank bone. We have the egg with salt water. We have the charoset. We have the horseradish. There is a custom for some to also have a piece of romaine lettuce. And then, of course, we have the karpas, the greens here as well. And, of course, standing proudly in the middle of the Seder plate is the kos shel Eliyahu, the cup of wine that is for Elijah the prophet, who is believed to visit every Seder each year across the world for every Passover. With that being said, we will begin this model Seder with the very beginning, the very first step in the Seder, and that would be to bless the wine and to sanctify the evening and to sanctify the holiday with Kiddush. And so if you're following along during your actual Seder, then I would recommend that you pick up your cup of wine. It is the first cup of wine. And if you are using your own Haggadah, that is great. If you are using the PDF of the Haggadah that I am using, which is a Haggadah that I compiled and edited for my family, which I am making available to all of you, then that is great as well. And if you are using my Haggadah, then we are on page 1 after the introduction with the Kiddush in the middle of page 1. Savarim Mararan Verabaran Verabotai Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei Peri Hagafen Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar banu mikol ha'am Veromemanu mikol hashon Vekideshanu b'mitzvotav Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava Moadim lesimcha Chagim uzmanim lesason Et yom chag hamatzot hazeh Zeman cheruteinu Mikra kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim Ki avanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim u'moadei kodeshecha besimcha u'v'sason hinchalotanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Yisrael ve'hazmanim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. And at this point, you take a drink of wine while reclining back and to the side a little bit as well. After you take the drink of wine, then we move on to the next step in the Seder, which is Urchatz, where you ritually wash your hands, but without saying the blessing. And so unlike washing our hands regularly, where we run our hands under the water and soap up and everything like that, the ritual washing of the hands is you take a cup, fill it with water. In your right hand, you take the cup and then pour it over your left hand 3 times. And then you take the cup in your left hand and pour it over your right hand 3 times. Then you put the cup down, you dry off your hands, and in this specific step, you don't recite the blessing. The next step, the third step in the Haggadah, in the Seder, is karpas, the vegetable. And the karpas, usually, it is parsley, which we have here on our Seder plate. Some families and some customs use celery, and even some use a potato. I believe it's an Israeli custom to use a potato. And so you take your karpas, whichever food item that may be, you dip it in the salt water, and then you say the following blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri ha'adamah. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the earth. And then you go ahead and you eat the karpas. It's very interesting to note that the blessing refers to the fruit of the earth, even though in modern times we know these food items to be vegetables. And it's because they are fruit that come from the earth. They are vegetables, as opposed to coming from a vine or from a tree. The next step, step number 4, is yachatz. And yachatz is the breaking of the middle piece of matzah. One of the other items that we are to have on our Seder table is a stack of 3 pieces of matzah, 3 matzot. So here's one, the top one, the middle one, right here, and then the bottom one. And so we separate the middle one from the other 2, and then we take that piece. I like to go along where the holes are if you're using the machine-made matzah, and then you break it in half. And I always try to get as clean of a half as possible, but it's not always possible. So we break the middle matzah, and one of the pieces of one of the halves will be put away for later to be used as the afikoman, the ritual dessert of the Seder later on. Okay, now step number 5 begins the process of Magid. Magid is the retelling of the Passover story, and even though the story does not appear verbatim from the Torah text in the Haggadah, there is enough allusions to it and mentions of it that it satisfies the need to retell the story. And so the retelling section of the Seder begins with the 4 questions. And of course, traditionally in most families, it is always the youngest person that is assigned to ask those questions if they are able to ask those questions. But of course, if you're having the Seder by yourself, or if you are among your loved ones and your friends, and there isn't a child around, it can still be the youngest person, or it really can be anybody. The whole idea of the Seder is to talk, and is to have a discussion, and is to ask questions. That is part of one of the major themes of the Seder. So, for those that know the Manishtana, you can sing along, and if not, you can just sit back and listen. Manishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot, mikol haleilot, shebechol haleilot, anu ochlin chametz umatzah, chametz umatzah, halayla hazeh, kulo matzah, halayla hazeh, כולו מצה, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שאר ירקות, שאר ירקות. הלילה הזה, מרור, מרור. הלילה הזה, מרור, מרור. שבכל הלילות אין אנו מטבילים אפילו פעם אחד, אפילו פעם אחד. הלילה הזה, שתי פעמים. הלילה הזה, שתי פעמים. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבין ובין מסובין, בין יושבין ובין מסובין. הלילה הזה, כולנו מסובין. הלילה הזה, כולנו מסובין. And of course, the four questions go as follows. Why is this night different from all other nights? On all other nights, we eat bread and matzah, but tonight, we only eat matzah. On all other nights, we eat all different types of herbs, but tonight, we only eat bitter herbs. On all other nights, we don't dip at all. Tonight, we dip twice. And on all other nights, we sit or we recline. But tonight, we only recline. And so the question that summarizes all these four questions is why? And so the next part begins the answer to these questions. And the short version of the answer is that Avadim hayinu ata b'nei chorim. Once we were slaves, but now we are free. And so we will sing together on the top of page 4 of my family's Haggadah, Avadim hayinu. Avadim hayinu, hayinu, ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. Avadim hayinu, ata b'nei chorin. Avadim hayinu, ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. And it is at this point in the retelling of the story of the Exodus and the story of Passover that there is a custom, and there in some Haggadot and in some families, there is the discussion about the four children. Traditionally, it was called the four sons, but in today's time, we refer to that section as the four children. And so with me, I have a supplement which actually comes from the Haggadah known as the Feast of Freedom Haggadah. And they translate the section of the four children as follows. The Torah alludes to four types of children, one who is wise and one who is wicked, one who is simple and one who does not know how to ask. So what does the wise child ask? What are the statutes, the laws, and the ordinances which Adonai, our God, has commanded us? You answer the question by saying to that child, you should inform this child of all the laws of Pesach, including the ruling that nothing should be eaten after the Afikomen. What does the wicked child ask? What does this ritual mean to you? To you, and not to him, since he removes himself from the community by denying God's role in the Exodus. You reply to him, this is done because of what Adonai did for me when I went out of Mitzrayim, when I went out of Egypt. For me, not for him. Had he been there, he would not have been redeemed. What does the simple child ask? What is this all about? So you should tell the simple child, it was with a mighty hand and that Adonai took us out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And as for the child that does not know how to ask, you should open the discussion for that child as it is written, and you shall explain to your child on that day, it is because of what Adonai did for us when we went free out of the land of Egypt. This section continues with multiple discussions about different verses from the Torah that either directly come from the Passover story or verses that reference or allude to the Passover story. And this section of the Haggadah is traditionally set up like a rabbinic discussion, like pieces of Talmud and Midrash and Mishnah. And in my family's Haggadah, I condensed that section into an easier summary, which we will go into a little bit later, a little bit further on page 4. But interspersed among the rabbinic discussions are different praises to God, in which we lift up our wine cup, we sing these praises, and so that is what we are going to continue with, the second line of Hebrew on page 4. Baruch hamakom baruch hu, Baruch shenatan Torah, shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael, Baruch hamakom baruch hu, Baruch hamakom baruch hu, Baruch shenatan Torah, shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael, Baruch hu. Blessed be this holy place, blessed be God, blessed be God who has given the Torah to the people of Israel. And then at this point, we raise up our cup of wine and we sing together Vehi She'amda, middle of page 4. Vehi She'amda, lavoteinu velanu, Vehi she'amda, lavoteinu velanu, shelo echad bilvad, amad aleinu lechalotenu, shelo echad bilvad, amad aleinu lechalotenu, ela shebechol dor vador, Omdim aleinu lechalotenu, ela shebechol dor vador, Omdim aleinu lechalotenu, v'hakadosh baruch hu, matzilenu mi'adam, v'hakadosh baruch hu, matzilenu mi'adam. And we can put down our cup of wine. And now we get into the section of the Haggadah that is more of a summary of the retelling section of the Haggadah, in which we discuss an opinion of one of the rabbis from the Talmud, Rabban Gamliel, who says the following. He says that in order to fulfill the mitzvah of having a Passover Seder, 3 things must be explained: Pesach, Matzah, and Maror. Why did our fathers eat the Passover offering during the time that the temple was still standing? It is because God passed over the houses of our ancestors in Egypt. The Torah says, it is the Passover offering for the Lord who passed over the houses of the children in Egypt when God smote the Egyptians and spared our houses. Why do we eat matzah? It is because God was revealed to our ancestors and redeemed them before their dough had time to rise. The Torah says they baked the dough which they had brought out of Egypt into unleavened cakes, for they were driven out of Egypt and they could not delay. Why do we eat the bitter herb? It is because the Egyptians embittered the lives of our ancestors in Egypt. The Torah says they made life bitter for them with hard labor, with clay and bricks, and with all kinds of labor in the field. Whatever work tasks they performed were breaking. It is said that God brought us out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. However, in today's time, especially since it is not possible, and that we should not, attach physical attributes to God, what does this mean? So a mighty hand refers to Moses, who was God's messenger and servant. An outstretched arm refers to Moses' staff that performed God's miracles. And the miracles themselves refer to the 10 plagues that led eventually to our freedom. And it's at this point that we now recount the 10 plagues that occurred during the Passover story. We know this part of the story, and we know that God commanded Moses to go to Pharaoh initially and to tell Pharaoh to let the Jews go. But then God also hardened Pharaoh's heart, and Pharaoh said, "No, I will not let them go." And so began the series of 10 plagues that occurred, that smote Egypt, and that eventually resulted in the Jews being freed. And so the ritual here is to take our cup of wine, and as we recite each individual plague, we take a finger, preferably our pinky, and we touch and put a drop of wine on our pinky, and then we move it over onto our plate or a napkin or whatever is appropriate, whatever you have in front of you, and we spill a drop of wine for each plague. We are on the top of page 5. Elu eser makot shehevi hakadosh baruch hu al hamitzrim b'mitzrayim ve'elu hein. These are the 10 plagues that the Holy One, blessed be He, brought upon the Egyptians in Egypt. Dam, Sephardeia, Kinim, Arov, Dever, Shechin, Barad, Arbe, Choshech, Makat Bechorot. Blood, frogs, vermin, wild animals, cattle disease, skin boils, burning hail, locusts, darkness, and the death of the firstborn. Rabbi Yehuda haya noten bahem simanim. Rabbi Yehuda abbreviated the 10 plagues using their initials. Detzach, Adash, Be'achav. Okay, and now at this point, we sing one of the most famous Passover songs found in the Haggadah, called Dayenu. And traditionally, Dayenu is a very long song. It has many different verses. But more recent Haggadot, the Feast of Freedom included, which was printed several decades ago, as well as my edition of the Haggadah, have shortened Dayenu into the most relevant verses that apply to us today. And so we are on the bottom of page 5 with Dayenu. Ilu ilu hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu natan lanu et mamonam et mamonam Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu natan lanu et hashabat, natan lanu et hashabat, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu natan lanu et ha-Torah natan lanu et ha-Torah dayenu. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu natan lanu et haaretz natan lanu et haaretz dayenu. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. At this point, we now get to the second cup of wine, the second of 4 cups of wine that are blessed and traditionally consumed during the Seder. If at this point your cup is empty, then this would be the point you would refill your cup with wine or grape juice. If not, you can just pick up your cup. And we are on the top of page 6. We recite a paragraph of text that comes from the Hallel service, traditionally speaking, and the Hallel service being a special service that is recited on the Jewish holidays as well as Rosh Chodesh. But this text specifically, B'tzeit Yisrael miMitzrayim, talks about when the Jews were freed and exited the land of Egypt. So this is a very special text, of course, very relevant to Pesach and the Passover Seder. And I'm actually going to use a melody that is one that I grew up with. I learned from my cantor growing up in Florida. So this is top of page 6. B'tzeit Yisrael miMitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'amloez, Hayata Yehuda lekodsho, Yisrael mamshelotav, Hayam ra'av ayanos, Hayarden isof le'achor, Harim rakedu che'elim gevod kivenei tzon, Malechayam kitanus, Hayarden tisof le'achor, Harim tirkedu che'elim gevod kivenei tzon, milifnei Adon chuli aretz, milifnei Eloach Yaakov, ahochi hatzor agam maim, chalamish lemayno maim. When Israel went out of Egypt, Jacob's household from a people of strange speech, Judah became God's sanctuary, Israel became God's sovereignty. The sea saw it and fled. The Jordan turned backward. The mountains skipped like rams and the hills like lambs. Why is it, sea, that you flee? Why, O Jordan, do you turn backward? You mountains, why do you skip like rams? You hills, why do you leap like lambs? O earth, tremble at God's presence, at the presence of the God of Jacob, who turns the rock into a pond of water, the flint into a flowing fountain. We'll continue in the middle of page 6, the blessings for the second cup of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Gaal Yisrael. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who redeems the people of Israel. And at this point, you drink from the second cup of wine or grape juice. Now, the next step of the Seder, this is where we get into a little bit more of the rituals and a little bit more of the logistics to prepare for the meal itself. And so at this point, we do rochsa, which is the second hand washing during the Seder, this time with a blessing. And as I mentioned before, instead of just running our hands under the water and putting soap, like we would normally do on a regular basis, we take a cup of water, we spill it over each hand 3 times, and then we recite the blessing. And the blessing can be found on the bottom of page 6. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu al netilat yadayim. And at this point, I will advise you to pause the video so you can actually go wash your hands, and then you can come back and replay the blessing. Now, on the top of page 7 is the actual blessing of saying hamotzi, but we refer to this step as motzi matzah. And so what we do at this point is we take our matzah, our matzot, we uncover them, and of course we say the first blessing of hamotzi, which most of us know, but we will say it in a minute, and then we will recite the blessing of the actual mitzvah of eating matzah. So, the first is the blessing of hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu al achilat matzah. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, whose mitzvot add holiness to our lives and commands us to eat the matzah. And at this point, you break off pieces of the matzah and you pass it around to everybody. I also suggest that you pause the video at this point so that you can go ahead and facilitate that during your Seder. Now that we have recited hamotzi, we are going to move on to the next step, which is maror. And we engage in this step, this mitzvah of maror, to remind us of the bitterness that we as a people, our ancestors, suffered during the Passover story when we were slaves. So at this point, you take a piece of maror. Some people use horseradish, like what's here. Some people use a piece of romaine lettuce. In my family growing up, my grandfather would always get raw horseradish. And it always worked out for me because every year I was usually sick on Pesach because of seasonal colds and allergies, and eating that raw maror really helped open me up, and it made it easier to sing. So thank you, Grandpa. So we take our maror and we recite the blessing for the maror. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu al achilat maror. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, whose mitzvot add holiness to our lives and commands us to eat the bitter herbs. At this point, once again, please pause the video so that you can distribute the maror among your guests. Now, one last ritual step before we get to the actual meal. There is the ritual meal, so to say, which is, according to Rabbi Hillel, a combination of some of these foods that must be eaten at the Passover Seder. And it is referred to as the Hillel sandwich. And what you do is you take a piece of matzah. On the matzah, you take some of the charoset, as well as some of the maror, and you put it on the same piece of matzah. Some people will just put it as kind of like almost like a cracker with the items on top. Others will take 2 separate pieces of matzah and put one on top of another like an actual sandwich. So at this point, pause the video and prepare your Hillel sandwiches. Once the sandwich is prepared, then we recite the text together on the top of page 8. Zecher lemikdash kehillel. Kein asa Hillel bizman shebeit hamikdash haya kayam. Haya korech pesach matzah umaror ve'ochel beyachad. Lekayem ma shene'emar al matzot umrorim yochluhu. To remind us of the temple, we do as Hillel did in temple times. He combined matzah, maror, and charoset in a sandwich and ate them together to fulfill what is written in the Torah. They shall eat it, the Passover offering, with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. And now, at this point, is when you can have your meal. Please pause the video at this point so you can continue with the festive meal itself. Once the meal is over and you have served your, what I'm sure is a very delicious dessert to you and to your family, to your guests, then we engage in the ritual dessert, which is the afikoman. And it has become pretty customary in most households and in most families that the afikoman, that one half of the middle matzah we broke earlier on, is then hidden throughout the house, and that usually the children in the family go on a scavenger hunt to look for the afikoman. My grandfather specifically always used to hide it in plain sight, which was always a huge gag. Sometimes he would just put it right underneath the tablecloth in front of him. Sometimes he had it on the windowsill behind him among the blinds. I think one year he even had it just sitting on the table in plain sight, and because we were so excited to go look for the afikoman, we didn't realize it was right there. So once the afikoman is found, then we partake of the afikoman. At this point, pause the video again so that you can break off the pieces of the afikoman and distribute it to everybody that is with you. And once they have the pieces of the afikoman, they may partake in the ritual dessert of the afikoman. Once that is finished, we then recite Birkat Hamazon as we would do at any other time. It is traditional to, every time we as Jews, that when we eat, that we recite blessings before and after. And so the Birkat Hamazon, the grace after meals, is recited after every meal and every food that we have. And so the Birkat Hamazon on Shabbat and the holidays begins with a psalm, Shir Hamalot, before going into the main body of Birkat Hamazon. So I'm going to be using another melody that is part of my family that I grew up with, that I've learned is actually a German melody. This I learned from my grandmother, from Nana, who is originally from Germany. And so this is the melody for Shir Hamalot from my family. Shir Hamalot Beshuv Adonai Et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholmim Az Yemale Sechok Pinu Ushonenu Rina Az Yom Meruva Goim Higdil Adonai Lasot Imele Higdil Adonai Lasot Imanu Haynu Semechim Shuva Adonai Et Shevitenu Ka'afikim Ba'negev Hazorim Bedima Berina Iktsoru Haloch Yelech shechazara. Bo yavo verina no se alumotav. And at this point, we will turn to page 10 for the main part of Birkat Hamazon. This section is usually led by the leader with everybody else responding with the different verses. And so as we go through this little section here on the top of page 10, I will denote which is the leader's part and which is the everybody else's response. So the leader begins, Rabotai nevarech, and everybody responds, Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach me'ata ve'ad olam. And then the leader continues, Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach me'ata ve'ad olam, birshut Maran ve'Rabbanan ve'Rabotai, nevarech she'alchanu mishelo. Everybody responds, Baruch she'alchanu mishelo v'tuvo chayinu. And then the leader repeats, Baruch she'alchanu mishelo v'tuvo chayinu. The word Eloheinu is in parentheses only because if you have a minyan present at the Seder table, then you include the word Eloheinu. Otherwise, you leave it out. And then everybody sings together the big paragraph on the bottom of page 10. Baruch hu Baruch Shemo, Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Hazan et haolam kulo betuvo, bechein bechesed uvrachamim, Hu noten lechem lechol basar ki leolam chasto, uvtuvo hagadol, Tami lo chasalanu ve'al yachsalanu mazon leolam va'ed ba'avur shemo hagadol ki hu elzan umfarnes lahakol umetiv lahakol umechin mazon lechol briotav asher bara baruch ata Adonai hazan et hakol. Top of page 11. Kakatu ve'alchata ve'savata uve'rachta et Adonai Elohecha al haaretz hatova asher natan lach baruch ata Adonai al haaretz ve'al hamazon uvnei Yerushalayim ir hakodesh b'mhera v'yameinu baruch ata Adonai boneh berachamav Yerushalayim amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ha'el avinu malkeinu adireinu boreinu golenu yotzerenu kedoshenu kedosh Yaakov ro'enu ro'rei Yisrael hamelech hatov v'ametiv lakol shebechol yom vayom hu etiv hu metiv hu yetiv lanu hu gamalanu hu gomalenu hu yigamalenu la'ad lechenu lechesed u'rachamim u'lerevach hatzala v'hatzlacha beracha v'yishoah nechama parnasa v'chalkala v'rachamim v'chaim v'shalom v'chol tov u'mikol tuv le'olam al yechaserenu. Harachaman hu yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed harachaman hu yitbarach b'shamayim u'va'aretz Harachaman hu yishtabach ledor dorim ve'yitpa'ar banu la'ad ulenetzach netzachim ve'yitpadar banu la'ad ule'olmei olamim. Harachaman hu yishlach lanu et Eliyahu hanavi zachor latov. Harachaman hu yishlach lanu et Eliyahu hanavi zachor latov. Vivaser lanu lanu, vivaser lanu lanu, vivaser lanu besorot tovot, yeshuot v'nechamot. Ba'amarom yelamdu aleihem ve'aleinu zechut shetehei lemishmeret shalom v'nisa v'rachameit Adonai u'tzedaka melohei sheinu v'nimtza chen v'sechel tov b'nei Elohim ve'adam. Harachaman hu yatilenu yom shekolosh tov הרחמן, ויזכנו לימות המשיח, ולחיי העולם הבא. מגדול ישועות מלכו, ועושה חסד למשיחו, לדוד ולזרעו עד עולם. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. And now that we've concluded Birkat Hamazon, we move on to the third cup of wine or grape juice during the Seder. Top of page 13. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Now drink from the third cup. There is a wonderful custom in the Passover Seder of welcoming Elijah to each Seder. It is believed that Elijah visits every Seder around the globe on the first two nights of Passover. And so it is customary that we go and we open the door, usually the front door, but I will go ahead and say that whichever door that leads to the outside is closest to you, go ahead and open that door. And as we do that, in order to welcome Elijah's presence here at our Seder, we will sing in the middle of page 13, Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishabi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimheira veyamenu, Yavo Eleinu, Im Mashiach ben David, Im Mashiach ben David. Now, it is a custom in my family Seder that at the same time that we open the door for Eliyahu, for Elijah the prophet, we also take a moment to remember our loved ones and our ancestors and those 6 million Jews who perished in the Holocaust. And there was always in my grandfather's personal Haggadah a little insert that he had of a reading that he always actually gave to one of the grandchildren to read. It was usually my cousin Amy who read it, but I remember that, I think a few of us actually might have read it. So I've included it as part of my family's Haggadah. On this night of the Pesach Seder, we remember the 6 million of our brothers and sisters who perished at the hands of a tyrant more horrible than Pharaoh, who enslaved our ancestors in the land of Egypt. Come, said he to his minions, let us cut them off from being a people, so that the name of Israel may be remembered no more. And they slew the innocent, men, women, and children with the vapors of poison and with burning of flames. But on the first day of Pesach, the remnants of our people rose up against the wicked and brought redemption to the name of Israel throughout all the world. And from the depths of their affliction, their voices came and sang, Ani ma'amin, Ani ma'amin, Ani ma'amin, Be'emunah shelema, Beviat HaMashiach, Beviat HaMashiach, Ani ma'amin, Beviat HaMashiach, Beviat HaMashiach, Ani ma'amin. I believe with wholehearted faith in the coming of the Messiah. Now, traditionally in the Haggadah, the next section of the Haggadah includes the rest of and most of the Hallel service, which, again, is a special service recited on the three festivals and Rosh Chodesh as a service to celebrate the holidays and praise God even further. And the custom of reciting it at night in the Seder actually comes from a specific Orthodox custom where Hallel is also recited in the evening in addition to the morning. It is our custom in most American Jewish communities that we only recite it in the morning. If you would like to read through that section, you are more than welcome to do so. I am going to sing a couple of verses that I've selected from the excerpts I have in my family's Haggadah tonight for this video. However, you may sing and discuss and read whichever sections you would like to do. So for right now, we are going to be on the top of page 15 with the first two verses that are on the top of the page. Min ha-metzar karatia anani v'merchavia Min ha-metzar karatia anani v'merchavia Anani v'merchavia Anani v'merchavia Pitchu li sharei tzedek Avovam odeya Pitchu li sharei tzedek Avovam odeya Zeh hashar l'Adonai tzadikim yavovo Zeh hashar l'Adonai tzadikim yavovo. And now we will move on to the fourth and final cup of wine or grape juice during the Seder. And we will recite the following three blessings on the final cup. Top of page 16. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam al hagefen ve'al peri hagefen. Baruch atah Adonai al haaretz ve'al peri hagafen. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, for the vine and its fruit. And blessed are you, God, for the land and the fruit of the vine. You may take a drink from the last cup. And now we are at the end of the formal part of, or the formal sections of the Seder. And as we say every year in our Seders, next year in Jerusalem, L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. 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 And so, as I said, that's the formal conclusion of the Seder. But of course, there are the fun concluding songs at the very end of the Seder that we all know and love. And so we are going to sing parts of two of them. And the first is Adir Hu, the second is Chad Gadya. And Adir Hu, as you will see in my family's Haggadah, there's a little subtitle of the song, Pass the Matzahs Down This Way, and we can all thank my grandfather for that. Okay? Adir Hu, middle of page 17. Adir Hu, Ivnei Veito Bekarov, Bimehera, Beyameinu Bekarov, El Bnei, Bnei Veitecha Bekarov, Hadurhu, Vatikhu, Ivnei Beito Bekarov, Bimehera, Veyameinu Bekarov, El Bnei, Bnei Veitecha Bekarov, Kadoshu, Rachumhu, Ivnei Veito Bekarov, Bimehera, Veyameinu Bekarov, El Bnei, Bnei Veitecha Bekarov. Pass the matzahs down this way. Thanks, Grandpa. And finally, Chad Gadya, the concluding song of the Seder. And we will sing together now, of course, the traditional melody, but I've also chosen the specific verses that I have here in my family's Haggadah, because not only did we sing the traditional melody, we also sang a very fun and wild melody from Cantor Moshe Oisher, and it is one of my favorite versions of Chad Gadya. And so we will sing first the traditional melody, and then we will go back and sing the Oisher version. Page 18. Chad Gadya, Dizabin Abba Bitrezuze, Chad Gadya, Beata Chalba Venachach Leshunra, Deachal Gadya, Dizabin Abba Bitrezuze, Chad Gadya, Beata Torah Veshata Lemaya, Dechava Lenura, De Saraf Lechutra, De Hicha Lechalba, De Nashach Leshunra, De Achal Legadia, De Zabin Namba Bitrezuze, Chad Gadya, Ve'ata HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ve'shachat Lemalach HaMavet, Ve'shachat Leshochet, Ve'shachat LeTorah, Ve'shata Lemaya, Ve'chava Lenura, Ve'saraf Lechutra, Ve'hicha Lechalba, Ve'nashach Leshunra, Ve'achal Legadia, Ve'zabin Namba Bitrezuze, Chad Gadya. Now, of course, Moshe Oisher. Chad Gadya, Dizabin Namba, Bitrezuze, my baby, Chad Gadya, Dizabin Namba, Bitrezuze, my baby, Chad Gadya, Ve'ata Chalba, Ve'nashach Leshunra, Deachal Legadia, Dizabin Namba, Bitrezuze, my baby, Chad Gadya, Dizabin Namba, Bitrezuze, my baby, Chad Gadya, Ve'ata Torah, Ve'shata Lemaya, De'chava Lenura, Ve'shata Lemaya, De'chava Lenura, De'sav Lechuta, De'hicha Lechalba, ועשה הקדוש ברוך הוא ושחט למלאך המוות ושחט לשוחט לתורה דשחט למאיה דחבה לרונה דסר לחוטה דחיקה לחבה דשה דשונה דיח לגדי דגניה Chag Sameach, everyone. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, that it was informative, and that it will help you and your families during the Seder. Thank you for watching, and Chag Sameach.